So it's basically just a flaky pie crust and a coconut custard filling. So to make my filling, I'm doing a 1-pot custard, super easy. This is half a cup of granulated sugar, 1/3 cup of cornstarch. This will help thicken the custard to the right consistency, and 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. As always, a little salt with our sweet, and then I'm adding 1 cup of whole milk and 1 can or 14 ounces of unsweetened coconut milk. And this gives us our coconut flavor for the coconut custard. And 4 large egg yolks. I'm gonna separate these into a bowl. If you want, you can hang on to the egg whites to make a meringue kind of topping or use them in another baking project, but today I'm just using the yolks. So whisk these in. And right now this is off heat, so you wanna make sure that you're doing all of this off heat, all the measuring, and then now that this is combined, I will turn this on over medium-high, whisking constantly, and you're waiting for it to start bubbling. You don't have to beat it like crazy, but you're just making sure that the milk doesn't scald on the bottom of the pan. What I love about this custard recipe is that there's no tempering of eggs. You do this all in 1 pot on the stovetop. It could not get easier. So this takes a couple of minutes, and you have to be patient here because if you just crank up the heat, you're gonna curdle your eggs and you're gonna have a very lumpy custard, and that is really not appealing to anybody. I feel with my whisk it's starting to thicken up a little bit. So both the cornstarch and the egg yolks are used as thickeners in this custard. Sometimes you'll find a custard that's just made with egg yolks. This one has both for added stability. The egg yolks also give it a really nice richness. And I grew up in Minnesota, which is kind of the dairy land. There's a lot of dairy coming out of there, out of the Midwest, I should say. And we always had cream pie. So there was French silk, coconut cream pie. So I can tell that it's thickening. It's just about the texture of pudding. Oh, and I just saw the first bubbles. So I can take this off the heat. So that means the cornstarch is activated. And now I'm gonna pour this into a sieve, into a heat-proof bowl. And it doesn't look like there are too many lumps here, but it's always a good idea to pour your custard through a sieve, just in case there are a few pieces of cooked egg. All right, so just scrape this through. Wow, it looks so smooth and delicious. It smells like coconut, like the tropics. This would be a great pie to make if it's the middle of winter and you're just looking for a little pick-me-up. Fruit might not be in season, but you can definitely make a coconut custard pie. Make sure you scrape all of that off the bottom. Don't want to miss any of that. And I'm going to pour this directly into a pre-cooked pie crust. This is our Test Kitchen's favorite pâte brisée recipe if you look for it on marthastewart.com. We have lots of techniques on there for how to blind bake a pie crust. This one I baked in a 400-degree oven with pie weights until it was nice and golden brown and let it cool completely before I filled it with the custard. All right, that looks pretty good. Now I'll just use a little offset here. You can always just use your regular spatula, but smooth out the top, just like that. Now this is going into the fridge until it's set, which takes about 4 hours. All right, so my pie is perfectly chilled. It's been about 4 hours, and now if I were making a coconut cream pie, I would top this with whipped cream, but because today it's all about the custard, I'm just gonna top it with half a cup of toasted coconut. Give it that nice crunch. To toast a coconut, I took sweetened shredded coconut and I put it in a 350-degree oven for about 5-10 minutes until it was nice and golden. I definitely like toasted coconut a lot better than the raw kind. I find that raw coconut doesn't have a great texture, but I think once you toast it up and it gets nice and crispy, it's so fragrant, it's delicious. All right, that looks pretty good and covered. So now, of course, time to give it a taste. Wow, I can hear that flaky pie crust. You can totally make this in a store-bought pie crust if you want to. It'll cut down a lot on your prep time, but I happen to just love the texture of homemade, and it's really not that hard. And once you've mastered it, it really improves all of your pies. So I can pull this up here, just like that. How good does that look? Oh my gosh. It's light and creamy, and the perfect amount of toasted coconut crunch on top. It's a classic for a reason. I can't wait for you to try this at home. Enjoy. If you're enjoying this video, be sure to like, subscribe. We have so many great fun videos.